Greetings, Deep Dive Podcast listeners. This is your boy, Sam Orum, and I'm coming at you with another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing great. It's been a busy week for me, a busy week for a lot of people, busy week for our country. So I'm just happy to be here tonight, man. And I tell you what, I'm so excited to get a chance to share with you a topic that for so many people, it is so very important. But before I get into that, those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Deep Dive Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about everything from empowerment to entertainment, just the things that people need in their everyday lives just to continue to thrive and win at the highest level. So I welcome you to the Deep Dive Podcast. And for those of you who are our loyal listeners, thank you again for tuning in for this week's episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. It is exciting, as always, to get a chance to just share a few things with you. I don't take your support for granted. I really don't. And I appreciate every time you tune in to listen to the Deep Dive Podcast and just kind of hear some messages of empowerment and even messages of entertainment. So thank you so very much. Don't forget, again, continue to like, subscribe, download, and share. We have a lot of information that we always like to share with our listeners throughout the world. So hopefully everybody's doing great, man. This has been a great week for me. It's been a busy week. We're wrapping it up here on the Thursday night, getting ready for the weekend and to close out now the third quarter, going into quarter number 4, getting ready to prepare for another new year. I heard the buzz talking about this, yesterday, talking about how the year is just gone so quickly, and before you know it, we're going to be talking about Happy New Year. So they had me laughing with that, but it's so true. It's like, man, where did the time go? So many people are just going through their daily lives. It just time is flying. I don't know, man. I think the earth is spinning faster or something. I can't even explain it. But anyway, nevertheless, getting into tonight's topic, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to protect your peace. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this topic, and in fact, it's kind of a spinoff of several other episodes that I've done over the past few weeks, like letting it go and, defeating the demon of stagnation, those kind of things. And this is kind of to protect your peace, because I truly believe so many people are having mental challenges. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but just challenges in terms of how to move forward, how to have that peace in your life. So many things, going on, so much tribalism, as I've talked about in the past. And for a lot of people, they just want some peace in their lives. And I truly can understand that. And so I just wanted to share briefly tonight how to protect your peace. First of all, you got to be able to position yourself to have a semblance of peace. And then you have to be able to protect that peace that you have created. So for a lot of people, it's really essential in order to maintain mental health and emotional well-being to protect your peace. You have to be able to do that. When you look at, like I said earlier, a world full of stresses and stressors or different challenges and things of that nature, you want to be able to, protect your peace so that you can sleep well at night and get up the next morning with vigor and excited about the day and excited about your future and ultimately excited about your purpose. So you have to protect that peace. And I think there are some things that you can practically do that will help you in that process. You may want to write some of these things down. But first of all, you want to be able to set boundaries. I know a lot of people, they just haphazardly go through life. But if you can establish clear boundaries in your personal life, also set clear boundaries in your professional life, but not just setting those boundaries, but be able to communicate those limits to other people, then that's going to give you a sense of peace in terms of how you go about your personal and professional business. Because think about it. First of all, you don't be afraid to say no. You have to be able to say no when necessary. And no can mean a variety of things, but just being able to say no, because setting these kinds of boundaries is going to help you avoid unnecessary stress. It's going to help you maintain a sense of control over your time, a control over your energy, a control over your life. I have a lot of friends, and in fact, I'm kind of like this too, where it's difficult to say no in certain situations. So we'll grind ourselves because we're trying to appease other people or situations, and it's just difficult to say no. But in order to protect your peace, sometimes you just have to say no. You just have to say no. No, I can't do this, or no, I can't go there, or no, this is not a good look for me, whatever it may be. But setting those boundaries could be extremely important, just from the mere standpoint of you don't want to put yourself in a stressful situation, as I said, and you want to maintain some semblance of control. Because think about it, if you just, everybody that asks you to do something, you say yes to this, yes to that, even if you don't have the capacity to do it, then at a certain point you're going to overwhelm yourself and you're going to lose control. And when you lose control of your life, that's when you start to, lack peace. You're frustrated, you're disillusioned, you're, stressed, and all these other kind of things. So make sure that you, set those boundaries with people that you come in contact with. Like I said, either professionally or personally, it doesn't matter. Something else that I think could help is to just practice what I like to call it mindfulness. Mindfulness. Now, what does mindfulness mean? Well, that's to be mindful of people who are around you, being mindful of situations that are around you. Mindfulness involves just being fully present in the moment and accepting that particular moment without judgment. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about. I see this a lot. I know I'm going to step on some toes. I'm stepping on my own toes with this. But man, y'all in these doggone cell phones, it's like absolutely crazy. Do this, play this game next time you go to a restaurant. And you go to a restaurant and you don't even have to look at your own table. Just look at all the tables around you. 90%, and I ain't lying, 90% of the people in that restaurant, they're on their phones. They're on their cell phones. They are on those doggone cell phones. Now I say I'm guilty as well, but in my own defense, at least I'm mindful of the fact that I don't need to be on the phone while I'm at dinner with someone or whatever the case may be. At least I'm mindful. I may not be obedient to that, but I'm mindful of the fact that I shouldn't do that. As a matter of fact, I had a meeting with a guy recently, and when I sat down, I told him, hey, look, I'm expecting some very important calls. Please excuse me or forgive me if I have to take this call in the middle of this meeting. These calls are very important. Typically, I try not to do that because, I try to put my phone on silent or mute or whatever when I'm having this meeting out of respect or practicing mindfulness of the person that I'm meeting with, right? But I did acknowledge that. But guys, we got to do better in terms of being mindfulness, or let me just put it easier way to remember. Just be present with where you are. Be present with where you are. And like I said, I know I'm stepping on a lot of people's toes because everybody on them doggone cell phones, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, 366 days a year. That's how often we on these doggone cell phones and devices. And I don't know. Now, yeah, a lot of people have to do stuff with business and things of that nature. But when you get a chance and your kids saying, mommy or daddy, could we just do this or do this? If you're going to watch a movie or do something with your child, turn the doggone phone off. Turn the phone off. Don't, just be present with your kid or be present with your significant other or spouse or whatever it may be. Regular mindfulness, sometimes it's just, you have to kind of force yourself to do it. You just kind of have to force yourself to do it. I'll tell you one way that could help. Like if you go in a restaurant or something like that, I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't think I would do it, but leave your cell phone in the car. Leave your cell phone in the car. Go in the restaurant. It ain't gonna kill you. I mean, what did you do? Or what did people do before there were cell phones? Just leave it in the car for a couple hours, an hour, however long you're gonna be at dinner. I know a good friend of mine. She's also a part of our company, Miss Dorothy Mercadale. She'll tell you, like, every Sunday when she go to church, she would leave her phone in the car. She wouldn't take her car. I'm sorry, she wouldn't take her phone in the church. There's no reason to take your phone in the church. Now, some people do. They even text it in church. Now, of course, sometimes people doing streaming and all that stuff in church. But at the end of the day, you want to kind of stay present. So I think I've kind of pounded that point enough. But a part of being able to be mindful is a part of you developing self-care. If you have this mindfulness, that's going to, again, we're talking about protecting your peace. That's going to go in the category of self-care because, you're more present, you're more engaged is a good word. Prioritizing self-care activities, that's going to help you too in terms of maintaining your peace. So you look at, okay, one part is being mindfulness, but the other part is just doing some tangible things that will help you to eliminate stress and to help you in terms of your self-care. Let me give you an example. Just taking some time to relax, relaxation. That's a big part of self-care. That's a big part of well-being. This can include things like just doing a little bit of exercise. You don't have to do a lot of exercise. Just do something that'll get your heart rate up to 170. You know what I mean? Just do a little exercise. Doesn't have to be long. Let me take that back by saying exercise to 170, whatever's comfortable for you. I don't want any of y'all, suing me, talking about Sam said get your heart rate up to 170. I got my heart rate up to 170 and had a heart attack. Now I'll take that back. Whatever is comfortable for you. All right. Don't overdo it. But exercise is important. Something else that can relieve stress and maintain peace? Creating a hobby. Creating a hobby. Some people like to paint. Some people like to draw. Now, I ain't talking about y'all with this nasty sipping paint stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about that kind of painting. I'm talking about painting flowers and trees. But those of you who like to paint, people like to draw, some people, whatever it is, create a hobby if you don't have a hobby. That's going to help in terms of self-care. It's also going to help in terms of that the maintaining your peace, protecting your peace. Some people like to read. Some people like to just take baths, like bubble baths and relax, things of that nature. A lot of people like to spend time in nature, whether it's at the beach or some people do hiking or, at the parks and stuff like that. I remember one time I had the audacity. I don't live far from Stone Mountain, not the city, but the actual park, Stone Mountain Park. And I called myself, I'm going to connect with nature, right? So I don't know if any of you ever been to Stone Mountain Park, but it's actually, the mountain is like huge. I don't know the height in terms of dimensions, but it's like in the sky basically. And but they have a hiking trail. A lot of people don't know this. They have a hiking trail on the side of Stone Mountain, so you can actually hike up Stone Mountain to the top. And at the top, they have eateries and these I can't remember what you call them, but like the sky things that take you from the ground to the top of the mountains, things of that nature. Well, I had the notion one day that I'm just going to hike up Stone Mountain. And like my niece Carmela say, baby, I got to the top of that mountain. Man, I'm calling the popo. Somebody got to get me down because I first of all, I can barely make it up there. They do have like benches and things that you can sit down, like midway the mountain or whatever. But I thought I was just going to just not make it off that mountain. I had to call somebody. I ended up getting one of those sky things and taking it back down. But that was my exposure to connecting with nature. I already don't like outside because I can't do the mosquitoes. I can't do mosquitoes and bugs and things like that. I'd rather deal with a snake than a mosquito. That tell you right there how much I don't want to deal with those mosquitoes. So I'm not a nature kind of guy as it relates to forests and hiking and all of that, but some people are, and that's a great way to relax. That's a great way to have self-care. Now, I can't do the beach. I don't swim. I can't swim. But beach is fine, water is fine. I like all that good stuff. So, but just find some things that's going to give you that sense of peace, that relaxation, and do those things. You have to not just imagine them, you have to kind of do them. Some people don't do anything, right? You got to kind of get out of your city, get out of your state, get out of your country. Sometimes just get out the bed, but you got to do something to that's going to bring you joy, right? That's going to bring you joy. And I think a big part of just maintaining your peace or protecting your peace is to limit your exposure to people who just stress you out. There are a lot of people that just stress you out. You got to identify the sources of the people, the places, and the things that stress you out, right? And you got to kind of eliminate those things. A lot of times people will stress you out just for no reason. I just don't get people in this day and time. There's so much, there's so many things that are inhumane. I saw like yesterday, day before, sometime this week, where a lady just shot and killed or shot her son because some over an SD card, just a SD card. And then I saw somewhere where these two guys were just joyriding and they just decide to run over a guy, 64, 65 years old guy riding his bicycle, but not bothering anybody. They just decide they're going to have some fun and going to steal cars and run over people. What's wrong with people? I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. So with that in mind, guys, remember, we're talking about, protecting your peace. Sometimes you kind of have to come out of negative situations to protect your peace. For example, negative news. 9 times out of 10, if you're listening to the news, it's something negative. Somebody got killed, this going on, the politics, we know what's going on with that, the economy, the climate, the hurricanes, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And at some point, you just got to turn that stuff off. Just turn it off because it permeates your soul. Right. So you just kind of have to eliminate this negative news sometime. That's one of the biggest things. Just eliminate the negative news, eliminate negative, toxic people. Get those people out of your lives. Look, if y'all going to spend an inordinate amount of time on social media, right? Then you got all of these people who are your quote unquote friends on social media, but they making all these crazy comments and negative comments. Y'all need to unfollow these people, delete them, block them, whatever you need to do, because you don't need to just consistently engage in negativity. Again, that stuff can become a part of your spirit and it affects your peace. So you got people, and I'm not saying that just going down the line and you got 10,000 followers and you're just going down the line trying to unfollow negative people. You'll spend all the rest of your life doing that. But I'm just saying that if there's something that's affecting your peace, get rid of it. Whether it's a person, whether it's a follower, whatever it may be, get those toxic negative people out of your lives. You don't have to deal with that because it's going to stress you out. Unfollow those people who cause you stress or reduce contact with toxic people. Sometimes, I got toxic relatives. I got toxic relatives. They may be listening in. I ain't talking about my immediate family, sisters, and just so y'all know. But I got some of them cousins in them. That's what we say. That's what we say. That's what we say in the country. Cousins in them. Man, excuse me. Look, you gotta at some point get into y'all see how I pivoted from that. I just got off that family thing because I can see Carol now, like, don't do it, don't go there, don't go there. So I just pivoted right off that. I left that as a cliffhanger. But so as opposed to dealing with a lot of negative people, toxic situations, just kind of surround yourself with positive people, positive influences, people who are always uplifting to you, uplifting to your vision, uplifting to your peace. You want to build a supportive network of friends, build a supportive network of family who's going to lift you up, who's going to encourage you. There's a lot of times I'll just shoot somebody a text. Just they may come into my mind, and just out of the blue, I'll shoot them a text. Hey, look, you're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just surround yourself with those type people, not people that's always going to tear you down, not people that's no matter what it is. There are people, man, and this drives me batty. I don't understand, but there are people who, no matter how positive a situation is, they're going to try to drag something negative out of it. I'm telling you, it could be the most positive situation ever, but they're going to try to drive something or pull something negative out of it. Yeah, this is a gold brick, but it's kind of heavy. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, y'all. You know what? I stay from around those people. I do. I don't know that. I know that's not proper grammar, but I'm not trying to be proper tonight. I'm trying to make a point. I can't be around people who are just always constantly negative. That stuff, I don't know, man. You want to surround yourself with these positive people. Look, positive relationships, they can pretty much provide a buffer to you against all of the challenges of life. Think about that. You got people who are in your family network, who are in your business network, who are in your friends network. And when situations occur, like life's challenges, whatever they may be, they can provide a buffer for you and contribute to your sense of peace just because they're saying, hang in there, stick with it. I'm with you. I got your back. All of these kind of things. Those are the people that you want to be around. I'm going to tell you who you don't want to be around. You don't want to be around those people that start a sentence by saying, child, let me tell you. Child, let me tell you. Girl, let me tell you. Boy, let me tell you. Have you heard? Soon as you see that, you're like, look, I ain't with it. I ain't got time. Don't go on somewhere with that foolishness. Go somewhere with that foolishness. I ain't trying to. Girl, let me tell you. Boy, let me tell you. No. Go on with that. You start out with something positive as it relates to me, But also, if you want to maintain, good peace, protect your peace, you got to manage your time effectively, because again, you don't want to. Maintaining peace means avoiding stress in a lot of cases, right? In a lot of cases. So you want to prioritize your tasks, prioritize your responsibilities, and avoid, I'm talking to Sam, avoid overcommitting yourself. Avoid overcommitting yourself. I'm talking to Sam. I'm talking to Jeff. I'm talking to Stanley. I'm talking to Vernon. I'm talking to whoever, right? Avoid overcommitting yourself. Look, and when I say we, I'm talking about people who are in the empowerment space. We have a passion for people, and we genuinely have a passion for people. We want to see people do well. We want to do the absolute best that we possibly can to make people feel good, empowered, things in a positive nature. But sometimes in doing that, we overcommit ourselves because we're trying to be everything to everybody. And in some instances, that waters down our sense of peace because we're over committed, right? So there are some simple things that you can do to still empower people without overcommitting yourself or doing too much that you're stressed out. One thing that we're doing this week with my company, One Voice Worldwide, and this is one of the action items that we set for this particular week, and it's very simple. I asked everybody that was a part of our training this past Saturday. I just asked everybody, hey, look, just someone that you see this week, just give someone a compliment. That's it. That's your task. Just give someone a compliment at any point this week, and just let us know that you gave a compliment. Hey, I like your hair, or wow, you're glowing today, or whatever. Just give someone a compliment, because what we're looking to do is to continue to grow to a point where we're embedding positivity in our lives, and that positivity is being passed on to other people, right? Well, you need a sense of energy and a stress-free life yourself in order to be able to even be a compliment or to offer something to somebody else. So time management can help you reduce that feeling of being overwhelmed. And I think I have a podcast somewhere in the 3 seasons. You may go back to the Deep Dive Podcast.live and look at some of the podcasts. Just search for time management or something like that. I think I did a time management podcast. But that's going to be very important so that you don't feel overwhelmed, and it's going to allow for more peaceful moments, right, in your life. Something that's important, something else that's important is practicing gratitude. By now, all of you know I've talked about this ad nauseum in terms of my book, The Mindset of a Champion. So you know about that book. But one of the things that is a common denominator with all of the champions that are in the book is they all practice gratitude. They all practice gratitude. It doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how big. You want to cultivate a habit of gratitude by regularly just acknowledging and appreciating the positive things, the positive aspects of your life. You know, some people even keep, I know Oprah does this, keep a gratitude journal, right? That can be helpful to a lot of people, but you want to be grateful. You want to show gratitude for all positive things in your life, no matter how big or how small. You know, you could be walking in a room and you just narrowly miss stubbing your toe on the table, you know, just walking by and just narrowly miss stubbing your toe. You know, be grateful and thankful that you didn't stub your toe, or even, you know, you might have broken your toe because you might have kicked the table accidentally. You know what I mean? And not, you know, just anything. Just create situations where you're grateful for every little thing, and keep that practice of gratitude in your life. Always giving praise to your creator. No matter what you're doing, you have to understand, if you believe, then that contribution that you're offering is based in your belief. So you want to praise God. You want to give gratitude. You want to understand that I didn't do this. I'm not capable of doing this, right? There was something bigger than me that caused this to happen. And so you give gratitude, you give praise to your creator. You praise God in terms of what it is that you're grateful for. Those things help you protect your peace. Okay. Those things help you protect your peace. Now, sometimes you just have to disconnect from things. You know what? If you need to disconnect, just disconnect. You know, we're in a world right now where there's something called being hyper connected. We're in a world right now that is hyper connected. That means everybody is connected in some kind of way, especially through social media. Everybody is connected some kind of way. There are more social media accounts than there are people on Earth, right? I think it's 5 or 6 billion people on Earth. And I think there's about 8 billion different social media accounts when you consider, you know, Facebook and Instagram and all those other things, right? So we're hyper connected in the world. Well, sometimes it's just important to disconnect, take breaks from the technology, take breaks from these devices. Unless you're doing business, just take breaks from it. Some cases, just 5 or 10 minutes, because there's some of y'all, you know, you're not disconnected from your devices for 5 minutes. That's a lot of people. 5 minutes is a long time. People eat with it. They take it to the bathroom. Oh, I know. Take it to the bathroom. You eat with your devices. You sleep with your devices. Your devices get more love than your spouse. Sometimes you got to disconnect from those things. You know, I wouldn't dare tell y'all to put it down for a day, because I'd lose all of my listeners. Everybody would stop listening to the Deep Dive podcast if I told you to disconnect from your device for a day. You just wouldn't even tune in no more. You're just like, this man crazy, right? But why not an hour? Just try to disconnect for an hour. Just disconnect for an hour, just to kind of refresh yourself. Remember, again, I keep talking about this. The topic of this episode is to protect your peace. Well, if you're going to protect your peace, sometimes you do need to disconnect. I challenge everybody to disconnect from your device for an hour. I ain't talking about while you sleep. I'm talking about in the middle of your day. Just disconnect from your device for an hour. If you can't, that'll show you what kind of problems, what kind of challenge you got. Now, again, I'm not saying if you know, your device is what you use to work with. I understand that. But I'm just saying, if you're using it as a social tool, then just try to disconnect just for a day. I'm sorry, not a day, an hour. All right. And as I said before, and I've said this on a previous podcast, a lot of times you just have to let stuff go. Recognize that you can't control everything. I said this in that podcast, and I'm guilty of it. I can't control everything. You can't control everything. I've had my best results post COVID when I got to a point and things just weren't working out for me personally, professionally, nothing. And I just said, you know what, God, I just got to give it to you. I just lead me. Give me the wisdom, the strength, and the resources, but lead me in terms of doing the things that I need to do, say the things that I need to say. It's not about me, it's about you. Lead me. When I did that, guys, life has been better and better and better. I had to just learn to let it go. I had to learn that I can't control everything. I need to do my job, but I need to let God do his job, right? But sometimes we blur that line. And again, I'm guilty as anybody. I'll blur that line in terms of not letting stuff go. You got to let it go. You got to, I said in that episode, just once you accept the worst case scenario, let it go and then let God do what God is going to do. Some things are beyond your control. Some things are beyond your influence. Practice letting go of those things that are not within your control, and then put your focus and your energy on what you can change, what you can control. If you cannot, I heard Whoopi Goldberg say this recently, and they were talking about how in some country in the world, the average age of life expectancy in that country is like 120 years old. I know it's hard to believe. I didn't believe it either, but I don't know. It is what it is, but this is what she was saying. The average age in that particular country, the lifespan is 120 years old. And so they did some research and they was asking, what is the main cause of people being able to live that long, 120 years old? It says not the food you eat. It's not the exercise you take. It's not the amount of sleep. All of these things that we talk about, right? This is none of that. They said the one thing that contributed to them living to be 120 years old on average is letting stuff go, letting things go that you can't control. I'm like, man, that's deep. Because if you can't control it, you can't control it. Just so let it go. Don't stress about it. It's a done deal. You can't control it, especially when it comes to other people. You can't control what other people think or what other people do. I had to learn this a long time ago. It's like people gonna think what they think, and there's nothing. I'm at a point in my life, I don't care. I don't care what people think about me or what I do or did. I don't care. That's their problem, right? And as they say, forgiveness is not about forgiving the other person. It's about giving you peace to let it go. That's what forgiveness is about. Not forgiving that person or a business or company or whatever. It's about you being able to let go. So, I kind of care less what people think because I let that stuff go. I realized that, it wasn't doing me any good. You know what I found out too? A lot of times, especially when you're young, and you're trying to impress people. I'm trying to impress all these people and, trying to have these women look at me and I'm doing this and, trying to impress this person, impress that person. And I realized, man, most of those people that I was trying to impress, they ain't even in my, I don't even remember their name. They're not in my life today. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You go through your whole life trying to impress people and do all of these things and, make people all of this kind of stuff. And you're lucky if you have 100 people at your funeral. You did all this for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, however long you live. And then you get to a point where, it's time for you to go to glory. You're lucky you get 100 people there. I ain't trying to impress nobody. Let it go. Let it go. It is what it is. Let it go. People say, Sam, why? Somebody asked me not too long ago. This is one of the listeners. They asked this in the what do you call it? The Facebook group, the Deep Dive Podcast Facebook group. It was like, man, you're highly educated. Why you get on here and you just talk like you ain't got no sense? Because I don't care what you think. I know I got 4 degrees, biology, pre-med, pre-dentistry, mute. I got 4 degrees. I'm highly intelligent. But I don't care I don't care what you think about how I talk. I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm one of those rare individuals that I don't say anything accidentally. If I said it, I meant to say it. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to let these things go. Don't let these people fluster you. I don't care. I don't care. Hey, people say, well, hey, I don't like that suit you wearing. Hey, look, when I got up this morning and got dressed, I wasn't thinking about you. I wasn't thinking about you. I don't care. I don't care that you don't like my suit. It's not about you, right? So these are the things you just have to learn to let go, guys. And so as I close out, bottom line is this, protecting your peace. It's an ongoing process. It may require you making some adjustments in your life. It may require you experimenting to find out what works best for you, what works or what does not work. Okay. But ultimately, it's important to be patient with yourself. You got to be patient with yourself. And you got to recognize that it's normal to experience stress, but it's how you handle and deal with that stress that's important. That's what's going to protect your peace. So the goal is not to just eliminate all stress, because stressors will come, but to build a resilience against that stress, right? Protect yourself against that stress, and then maintain a sense of inner peace despite all of life's challenges. Because if you live, you're going to have challenges. My good friend Jeff Landrum said I think it was his podcast, Changing Faces Ministry podcast, this past week. And I didn't know this, by the way. He said that somewhere in the Bible, it was stated that you're going to have problems. I'm paraphrasing, of course. You're going to have problems. It's like in the Bible, you're going to have problems. I never knew that. I'm like, oh my God. It's like you're going to have problems. What that did for me, though, on one end, it gave me a sense of peace to say, okay, all of these things that happen that I consider, I don't call them problems, but challenges. Okay, so that's supposed to happen. But the thing we have to get good at is, how do we deal with those things? How do we deal with those challenges? How do we deal with those quote unquote problems, right? So let's continue to understand those things that we shared tonight. Let's continue to understand the value of protecting your peace. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Don't let anybody step on your peace. Eliminate toxic people from your life. Eliminate toxic situations from your life. Practice self-care for you and your family. And remember, maintain that sense of peace no matter what. So with that, we're going to conclude this episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Again, please don't forget to like, subscribe, download, and share. I appreciate the support. Go to the website, thedeepdivepodcast.live. Listen to some of the previous episodes. Share those episodes with people who are in your life that may need the topics that can embolden and empower and impact their lives in a positive way. With that, guys, God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the beaches of the world. Take care.